Andrew Huberman, professor of neurobiology at Stanford and owner of the #1 ranked podcast in health, science, and fitness, breaks down how to use science-based tools to change our perceptions, behaviors, hormones, and overall well-being. I incorporated every aspect of Andrew Huberman's routine for 21 days. All right, just got my latest testosterone results, and here's what happened. Good morning. I slept an amazing 10 hours last night, which is a feature of Andrew's routine that I'll touch on later. I'm gonna note my wake up time though. It is 7:30 a.m. We're gonna use this time for setting up later parts of our day. But right now, we need to immediately spike up our cortisol levels.
The single best thing you can do for your sleep, your energy, your mood, your wakefulness, your metabolism is to get natural light in your eyes early in the day. This sets in motion a huge number of different neurobiological and hormonal cascades that are good for you.
Now, I know cortisol is talked about as bad. Yes, it is a stress hormone, but you want it high and to peak in the morning because that's what wakes your body up and gets your system going. And sunlight in your eyes is what triggers the neural circuit that controls the timing of cortisol, as well as melatonin. If we're standing outside for 5 minutes doing nothing would get boring. So take this time to drink a tall glass of salt water as Andrew recommends, which tastes absolutely awful. On top of hydrating myself, 1 gram of salt contains 388 milligrams of sodium, a key element helping our neurons wake up and function properly, especially in the morning, since sodium helps the flow of ions between neurons. Now, additionally, every single morning, Andrew thinks over his day, fixating on what is the most cognitively difficult task and what is the most physically difficult task he needs to get done. And the most cognitively difficult task is for me to set up a multi-account environment in Amazon's web services for my job as a software engineer. And the most physically difficult task is leg day in the gym, more specifically breaking my PR on squats. So I'm gonna tell myself I'm gonna get both of these things done before noon and focus on nothing else until then. And the crazy thing Andrew points out is even just setting that goal mentally will reward you with a small amount of dopamine because you're on the right path. And as you move forward and getting that goal done, you're gonna get more and more of a dopamine reward until you finally reach that goal and get the full dopamine release. But anyway, it has now been 5 minutes out here. I finished my disgusting salt water, and it's time for our regular, predictable, tractable practices. Which just means this.
Predictable, tractable practices that you know you can accomplish first thing in the day. It's not necessarily just about the practice, it's not about having a well-made bed, it's not about making a cup of coffee, it's about you being in control of the control circuits. Because you have these brain circuits that are involved in controlling yourself and setting blinders on yourself when you need to and moving.
All right, so I made my bed, took care of my grooming, weighed myself, and opened up my blinds. By the way, I put cardboard inserts between the window and the blinds. This blocks out a ton of light that seeps in over the night, helps you get much better sleep. Now, this seems like dumb stuff, right? Oh, make your bed, you're getting it tonight, what's the big deal? But as Andrew said, it puts you in control of your brain's control circuits, which trains up your focus and goal-directed behavior. So over time, you'll naturally wake up and just be in forward motion when you get X, Y, and Z done, just like a cold shower. Now, the thing about cold showers is not only will it build up your discipline and your resilience, but it has a powerful effect on the release of dopamine. Dopamine, the key chemical that elevates our mood, makes us feel more engaged, and enhances our ability to focus. And the thing about cold showers, they make you feel good not only when you're in the cold water, but additionally, once you've left the water, you continue to release dopamine. Clinical trial from the Department of Orthopedic Surgery in the Netherlands found that cold showers led to a 29% reduction in people calling off sick from work. Another study from the Department of Radiation Oncology from Virginia Commonwealth University even connected cold showers to improved cancer survival.
That's a remarkable example.
I'm gonna go dry off now.
There are these plant compounds like tonga ali, and another one which is very interesting, Phaedogia agrestis, stimulates the test to make more testosterone. Those two herbal supplements together can give a significant boost in free and active testosterone.
So I was able to find these supplements in the exact amount Andrew recommends, 400 milligrams of tonka and 600 milligrams of Phaedogia, and we're gonna take them. Now, a healthy man's testosterone is between 300 to 1,000 nanograms per deciliter. For that being said, testosterone has been dropping drastically in men in first world countries for the past few decades, and nobody really knows entirely why. So this normal range has been skewed very far compared to what our grandparents considered normal. Having 300 milligrams per deciliter, the very very bottom of the normal range nowadays, we've considered very, very low testosterone in our grandparents' generation. I had my levels measured both at the start of this year and right before this challenge, and I'm at 600 nanograms per deciliter, which I find to be kind of pathetic. Like, I'm on self-improvement. I do all these good habits like sleep, exercise, diet, which should increase my testosterone, and I'm in the bottom half of the normal range, which is already super low compared to what our grandparents considered normal. And I personally want much higher testosterone levels, because according to Andrew, not only will it give you a higher sex drive, thicker facial hair, more muscle mass, things that we already are aware of, but having higher testosterone means you're able to concentrate on one thing for a longer period of time without getting distracted. I'm gonna share my testosterone levels after taking these supplements for 21 days at the end of this video, and you're gonna wanna hear because Andrew says it should be at least 300 milligrams higher, which is absolutely crazy. Additionally, I don't drink caffeine, but I know most Americans do, some 93%. So if you're in that boat, Andrew notes, do not drink caffeine in the mornings. It'll lead to an energy crash in the afternoon, which will make you crave even more caffeine. It's best to consume 2 hours after you wake up. For me though, I'm gonna stick with my water, and let's get to our workout. Now, as I mentioned, today we are at the gym, and as Andrew recommends, we start our workouts out with a 10-minute warm-up, which for me is walking backwards and a bit of dynamic stretching, followed by 45 minutes of resistance training, and of course, specifically focusing on that one goal of breaking my squat PR.
And train your legs, guys, come on. You know, come on.
Even on days when I'm not lifting because I have MMA in the evening, Andrew says to still get some movement going in the morning, whether it's push-ups, jumping jacks, jumping rope, etc., for at least 10 minutes. Because movement in the morning is crucial to get your norepinephrine system primed to get your body awake. All right, I'm done with my workout, came home, freshened up, nothing crazy to show you there, but now we can get into deep work. Remember, I have my one difficult cognitive task I chose to get done in the morning. These we're doing in the morning, so we're in what Andrew describes as phase 1 of the day, which is the first 8 hours from when we wake up. During this time, our brains and bodies are more focus-oriented due to higher dopamine, adrenaline, and cortisol levels. So during this time, you want to complete the habits that require the most energy and focus. Working out is a big one, we took care of that, and the next big one is deep focused work. For the next 90 minutes, that's all I'm gonna be doing.
So my suggestion would be anytime you're going to sit down and try and focus, you're going to try and do a focused bout of skill learning or musical learning, how long should it be? And the ideal duration is about 90 minutes. But trying to push yourself to be able to drop into 2 hours of focus or 3 hours of focus while possible is not really in line with what we know about the underlying biology.
So naturally, during this 90-minute time period, our focus and attention will flicker. It's actually a side effect of phase 1. See, since our brains and bodies are more focused and action-oriented during this time, we're more prone to multitasking and distraction. However, Andrew notes, do not go wherever the wind blows, avoid multitasking, and focus on that single important task. So during phase 1, I actually stay off my phone as much as possible. I throw it a few feet behind me, and simply I won't get pulled into miscellaneous browsers, check emails, do little odd tasks here and there. I have my single focus on just that main goal and getting it done. But now what happens when that 90-minute deep work session is over? Well, then it's time to deliberately decompress and let your mental state idle for at least 20 minutes. Everywhere the light touches is your kingdom. So even during this time, I'm not going on my phone because it does focus your attention on one specific thing, whatever post you're looking at or video you're watching. I'm really letting my mind idle and go wherever it wants to go. Around this time, I'll normally clean up around the house, do some odd tasks, water my plants, and eat. You've likely noticed that I have not eaten yet this morning, and that is deliberate. Andrew does his workout in one bout of deep focus work for putting anything in his body, type of intermittent fasting. Now, the neuroscience behind intermittent fasting for focus is weird as hell, so I'm gonna have him explain it.
When we are fasted or when our blood glucose is very low, we aren't able to perceive and think about things as clearly. Now, there's a twist to this, however. When you ingest food, there's a shift in your nervous system towards so-called parasympathetic mode. That is, the more relaxed, you probably heard it as rest and digest, that can indeed make us very sleepy. If we have too many carbohydrates, it actually can make us quite sleepy. So a lot of people really like fasting in the state of being fasted for focus and concentration because they don't have as much of that parasympathetic activation. They're just not as sleepy. And imagine a U-shaped function, right? Where if you're very fasted, you're going to have a high degree of focus and concentration. But then if you ingest some food and your belly is full, your focus and concentration is reduced. But having enough blood glucose and maybe even elevated blood glucose will increase cognitive function.
To sum it up, we want to fast in the morning, able to increase our focus, but not fast for so long that all we think about is food. It makes sense why he eats his first meal at around 11 a.m. But you also want that first meal to be moderate, because if you overeat, then you won't be able to focus well after, and phase 1 of the day is focus heavy. So as hungry as I am right now, and I'm also trying to bulk in the gym, I'm going to resist the urge to decimate this Subway footlong sandwich. Instead, opt out for a moderate meal of just 6 inches. And then after that, my second deep work session, I'll finish the rest of the sandwich and eat some more. And that'll be my first big meal of the day. Before I start the second session, let me point something out to you. There's neurobiological data showing the position of your body dictates part of your alertness. When you're sitting upright and tall, your brain's being stimulated. When you're reclined back, it's not. So make it a habit to do 3 things. 1, sit upright when I'm working. 2, not lean down when looking at my phone. And 3, make an effort to sit upright at all times. Whether you should sit or stand, the science is very clear that just sitting for hours a day is terrible for you. Simply, it's even as bad as smoking a pack of cigarettes every day. Standing, on the other hand, is bad for you as well, but not as bad as just sitting. The best combination is to do both. So make it a habit that I'll alternate deep work cycles. So the first one I did it sitting, this one I'll do standing, and I'll keep going just like that. As I work through the session, let me talk to you a little bit about goal setting. Andrew sets few goals, ones that are both challenging and possible. He then sets out concrete sets of action he can execute on to reach those goals. And then lastly, he surprisingly foreshadows failure, visualizing failure and all the terrible things it could bring if he fails to reach that goal. My biggest goal for 2023 is to make it on YouTube. I'm taking 4 actionable steps to get there. These steps combined should lead me to where I want to go. I'm now going to spend the next few minutes visualizing my channel failing and how terrible that would be. I'm not gonna lie, that hurts. It actually really hurts to imagine yourself failing. You can almost like physically feel the pain in your heart, in your breast, in your heart from when you fail at something you genuinely care about. But anyway, second deep work session is complete. I'm gonna eat some more food now, relax for a little bit, and then we'll kick off phase 2 of the day.
So phase 2 for me begins at 4:30 p.m. So this is 9 hours after I have woken up. And this time period is accompanied with higher serotonin levels and much lower adrenaline. So you want to engage in habits that don't require much focus. Things like writing fiction, writing rough drafts, writing music, play of any kind, trying a new recipe, brainstorming, etc. Now, of these, Andrew highly recommends incorporating some play into phase 2 of your day, because one of the few things that removes that pressure of needing to do well enough to actually enjoy the experience. As for what to play, I don't own any video games, so the fun thing I could do is play the game GeoGuessr, where you guess where you are in the world based on Google Street View API. So let's give it a shot. All right, so I did the tutorial, I did round 1 in world, and now we're starting off with round 2. This definitely looks like Europe to me. 100% this is Europe. Anyway, let's see what's on this bus. Vantage, come on, give me something to work with here. Give me something to work with. Okay, I'm seeing some fancier, some newer buildings over there. Let's go check that out. This actually is kind of fun though, I enjoy this. This is actually, I'm having a bit of fun here. Maybe there's a name of the street or something. Manchester 1. Yeah, so maybe this is Manchester. So we're in Manchester then. The University of Manchester. I'm gonna stick with Manchester. That's my best guess for right now. I was close. Okay, I'm getting pretty good at this game. I'm getting pretty good. All right, that was fun though. I'm not gonna do round 3. So I have a few other things I need to get done, but I had a good time.
So it's been a few hours, and as you can tell, we are coming up on bedtime. As you'd imagine, Andrew is a huge proponent of sleep. Recommends getting as much sleep as you need, which for me is a little over 10 hours.
So major things he mentions are keeping your area cold, keeping your area dark, taking a warm shower before bed, avoid looking at screens, and when you're in bed, elevate your feet with a pillow and breathe through your nose. Now, Andrew reasons that elevating your feet at night is meant to help with blood flow. Your body wouldn't have to work so hard to push against gravity to get blood to specifically your heart. As for breathing through your nose, first of all, just breathing through your mouth looks absolutely disgusting when you have your mouth hanging open the whole day like close your mouth. You look way more attractive just with it closed. But the reason for breathing through your nose specifically is because first of all, you're able to exit more CO2 from your body, which will decrease your anxiety. And on top of that, over time, breathing through your nose will literally change the facial structure of your jaw and make you look much more attractive. To start breathing through your nose at night, a very simple thing Andrew recommends doing is putting a piece of either medical tape or micropore tape over your mouth while you sleep. Just like this. Don't worry, it's perfectly safe. And it's also time for bed. This has been a very interesting 3 weeks. All right, here we are. God damn, your boy's looking thick. Look at those things. But here we are 26 days later to be exact. It's the lab, a little bit of time to get my testosterone results back. But I now want to run through every single principle Andrew talks about and give you my thoughts on it, whether or not I'd recommend it for you. So number one was sunlight in your eyes first thing in the morning. This was absolutely fantastic. Even on cloudy, overcast days, it still was bright. You had to force yourself to open your eyes. It really got you alert and running first thing in the morning. This was absolutely awesome. It also felt nice to get some fresh air right when you wake up. So I'm gonna carry this on going forward. 100%. All right, number two was salt water in the morning. This tastes absolutely terrible, and it is a bit of a hack for people who fast because it does prevent you from getting dizzy later in the day. But with fast until noon or 11 a.m., I didn't see much of a need for it, and I just can't stand the taste of it, so I'm not gonna carry this on in the future. The number three is fixating on one cognitive and one physical task to get done every single morning before noon. This was fantastic because for most of the day, I'll multitask, do a little bit of stuff here, do a little bit of stuff there, and I feel like I don't really get anything done when I finish off the day. Focusing on just these two tasks, even if I don't complete them, I know that I gave it my all before noon. So I'm gonna carry this on in the future, 100% must do. All right, number four was regular, predictable, tractable practices. I already do these things because I learned from Jordan Peterson that your room is the one place in the entire world you have 100% control over. So if it's messy, how are you gonna solve bigger problems? What does that say about you? You're also an adult, just grow up, keep your area clean. So I thought these were good and I'm gonna keep doing them in the future. Now, number four was cold showers. These were absolutely fantastic. I've been doing them for the past 4 years and there was no better way to wake you up first thing in the morning and just get you feeling energized in cold showers. So definitely pick them up if you're not doing them in the morning. All right, now number six, the good stuff is the testosterone supplements. Remember, the healthy range for testosterone, healthy, in the modern world is 300 to 1,000 nanograms per deciliter. My levels are 600 and my new results are now 660, which was honestly incredibly disappointing because Andrew mentioned that they should go up about 300 nanograms per deciliter, and this was a 60 increase. It was pathetic. Like, I expected much higher levels of testosterone in me, especially because I felt much more energized later in the day. I felt like even my beard was growing a little bit thicker, but to actually see that these didn't give me that much of a benefit was quite disappointing. That sucks, but it was good to try out. All right, number seven was not drinking caffeine within the first 2 hours of when you wake up. I don't drink caffeine at all, so this was no change to my life. Number eight was 10 minutes of exercise every single morning. 100% yes, hands down. In the past, when I was traveling or I had workouts in the evenings, I felt much more lethargic and I had issues with bloating and constipation in the morning. Doing 10 minutes of exercise, walking is okay, but jogging was awesome. And getting me fired up and ready to go in the morning and not having any of those bowel issues that unfortunately I do just deal with when I don't get a morning exercise in. So 100%, if you're not doing something small, at least some stretching or some jumping jacks, 10 minutes every morning, get it done. You'll feel much better throughout the day. All right, number nine was deep work cycles, the 90 minutes on focus and 20 minutes off. And this actually worked really well for me because in the past, I would try to just output as much work as possible. Then I would get a lot tired a lot faster throughout the day. And on top of that, I felt like I was more prone to distractions and not getting as much done as I should have been gotten done. So the 90 minutes on, 20 minutes off worked really well. I'm gonna carry this on in the future. Now, number 10 was to avoid multitasking. As I mentioned before, I used to just feel like I got nothing done throughout the day. When I focus on one thing at a time, I get much more things done. I feel much more accomplished at the end of the day. So avoid multitasking, 100% yes. Now, number 11 was idling. This is when you're in those 20-minute rest periods and those deep work sessions, you let your brain go to wherever it wants to go to, not focus on one specific thing. And this was actually really awesome because I normally focus on the problem I was worried about when I was working. But as Andrew mentions, the same way your muscles need rest between sets, your mind needs rest as well. So giving it that time to just idle and think about worked great. All right, number 12 is now intermittent fasting until around 11 a.m. to noon. This definitely gave me much more clarity in the morning, and I felt like I had to earn I had to work to earn the right to eat, if that makes sense. Usually when I go to the gym and I come back and eat a meal, even just a couple protein bars, I don't have that same level of clarity until when I fast until 11 a.m. to noon. And also, because it's only 11 a.m. to noon, it's not like I'm hungry and I really need food inside me, so it's all that I'm thinking about. So I'm gonna carry this on in the future. I think I'm really glad I tried this. Now, number 13 was correct positioning, which I actually should be doing now, as well as alternating between sitting and standing. Obviously, it's something we should be doing. I have a very bad habit of working and slouching like this while I work. So I'm gonna make a habit going forward in the future to make sure my posture is upright so I'm more alert. And also when I'm gonna work, I'm gonna start my day off by standing and then sitting and then keep alternating just like that. So I'm not always sitting, and it's very bad for your health if you just sit. Now, number 14 was goal setting, which I already do, but adding this point of negative visualizations, imagining yourself failing at the goal you really wanna do. It gives you some brief motivation. Oh my God, I'm gonna fail. okay, well, let me just work really hard at it. But overall, left me feeling a bit anxious. So I'm not gonna do that in the future. I think it's better to set your goal and not worry about failing that goal. Just my personal opinion. Now, number 15 was phase 2, doing things that require much less energy and focus later on in the day, as well as incorporating a little bit of play and relaxation in there as well. I normally do whatever I feel like doing whenever I feel like doing it, whether it's editing a video, writing a script, writing some code, as I just want to do it throughout the day. But I'm gonna make a note going forward in the future now to do the things that require much more focus in the morning and pushing off those sort of lazier things later on in the day. And it does just make sense, right? As the day goes on, you get less tired, which is why I do my workouts first thing in the morning, so I'm the most energized when I'm doing them. All right, number 16, the last point is to get much better sleep. I already do almost all the things Andrew mentioned, including taping your mouth shut at night, which is a game changer for getting much better sleep and making you a nose breathe. One, it like opens up the nasal passages in your nose. You are forced to breathe through it at night, and you don't wake up in the middle of the night with a really dry mouth, like, trying to find water around you. So I highly recommend it. The only thing I don't like doing is elevating my feet at night because it just is a bit uncomfortable. But besides that, game changer to get much better sleep in your life. So here we are in the end game. Hope you did enjoy this video and will take a few things away from it and something you can incorporate into your own routine as well. If you want to learn more about health and success, please do subscribe to my channel and check out the cool links in the description below, including signing up for my weekly newsletter. Wishing you all the best, and I'll catch you in the next one.